Yes, people. Yes, Maze. Come on. That tune is just the best, isn't it?
Sneak preview of LB SoundCloud as well. You didn't hear it, but behind the scenes, he was popping off. It was beautiful. Yeah, would subscribe, would recommend.
Yes, correct. If anyone's wondering why I'm wearing a coat, it's because I'm ill. So I'm freezing, you know what I mean? Hence why the coat is on. I should have put a hoodie on, really. You know what I mean? That's more sort of, you know what I mean? I should probably put my scarf on as well, man, innit?
Do it now. I mean? Mancini style.
I got my, oh, yeah. Do you remember the Mancini? What was it like this, wasn't it?
Yeah. So double it over, yeah, and now put that through there. Yes, there it is.
Oh, yo!
Yes.
Oh, I forgot I used to wear a scarf like that.
Whoa. I used to wear my scarves like that because I'm a real madness. One. There he is, up there, the boy.
Oh, yeah. Bro, I completely forgot he used to wear his scarf like that. I'd never seen anyone wear a scarf like that before until Mancini started wearing it like that, man. Shout out Mancini, by the way, yeah? Good disrespected manager, yeah? Where is this fucking statue, by the way?
It's a good question.
Real talk, yeah? Should Mancini have a statue at this football club? We went, 35 years without trophy? And he wins 2.
Like yeah. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not a statue, but certainly something. Does he have anything? Bro. He doesn't have anything, does he? Like Yaya had that mural thing. I don't think Mancini has anything, does he?
I don't think he's got anything at all.
I'd give him something.
I genuinely do think he's mad disrespected. Like, bro, like he needs something at least, man.
I love Mancini.
How long exactly was it before? Was it 30? It was 35 years, wasn't it?
I think it was 1974 was our last cup trophy. That was the League Cup. And we won it in 2011.
2012.
So,
oh no, the FA Cup. Yeah, the FA Cup.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So, how many years is that? Someone do the maths on that.
It was at least 30 odd years because United had that thing, like didn't they, at Old Trafford? But I don't know if that was for a trophy or that was
76. For a thank you, Sean. So 70. Yeah, that tracks then. So if it's 2011, 35 years, that makes sense.
What should he get? Should he get a statue or something else?
A statue is probably pushing it. I think Pep should get a statue, shouldn't he?
Pep should definitely get a statue.
I don't know. You know how there's that 9320 suite. Could we give him something like that? You know, like a could there be like a box?
No,
named after him or something?
I'll tell you why. No, it's because for me, I think there needs to be something that the fans can actually
congregate around and praise.
Yeah, because here's the thing, right, with the statues and that, yeah. The truth is, yeah, like most people who go to the stadium like week in, week out, yeah, or even like visitors from abroad or not even from abroad who come up, like most City fans. They'll see the company, they'll see the statues. But the thing is with statues, yeah, they get more valuable with time. Because what's it there for? It's there to remember. Well, we all remember David Silva. We all remember fucking Yaya Toure, not Yaya, but like Company and fucking Aguero and that. Yeah? And like, when you go with your mates and that's chilling. But in 20 years, in 30 years, when people have had the kids and that, and they don't know, they never seen Aguero play. That's when the statues become more valuable. So, for example, the statue of Bell, Summerby, and Lee, that is very, even though actually it was put up after the others, that's more valuable now because, like, I never seen these guys play. So for me, I actually like that statue a little bit more than the others because for me, I'm like, oh, these are the guys that like was carrying City back in the day. And then I can read about it, see them and understand about it. And maybe if I have kids, yeah, then I'll take them to all the statues, but then I'll speak about the company and talk about him. And the thing is, yeah, I'm going to talk to the kid about when City got bought and talk to him about 2012 and the FA Cup win. Yeah, and obviously the Aguero in 2012. And they're going to say, oh, who was the manager? And I say, the manager that won us the first trophy in 35 years, Roberto Mancini. Where is he? Like, what's going on? I'll be like, oh, there's nothing there.
Again, it doesn't have to be a statue. You know, for example, there's Joe Mercer Way, which is like, you know, a path, isn't it? He was like our manager in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
You could have, I'm not saying you have to give him a whole fucking road, but that's an example where Joe Mercer's still being recognized by City, but it's not necessarily a statue. So there could be something, definitely.
There's got to be something. There's got to be something, man. You can't.
I'm doing my bit. I've got a picture of him there, so I'm doing my bit. Yeah.
I'm doing my bit by speaking about it.
Exactly. Yeah. The club are failing us. It's not good enough.
Club are fucking failing again. Yeah, I don't know what they do. I don't know whether a statue's a little bit too ham. I think there's a good argument for a statue, given the fact that we didn't win anything for 35 years and he won 2 trophies. But even if you think that's a little bit too extreme, there needs to be something. There needs to be something. And it needs to be something that the fans can physically visit and see. Otherwise, like, what's the point in it? So anyway, I don't know why do we even get onto that topic?
Scarves. Illness led to scarves, led to Mancini, led to statues.
Yes, that is.
Elbin's tangents. We love to see it.
Exactly. I am Mario. The ground's going to be filled with statues at this point. It is, man. I want a sea of statues around the stadium. Anyway, guys, make sure you smash these likes up on the way in, guys. Make sure you get the likes up. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Nobbins' channel as well if you're new. Hashtag free Echeverry video in the comments, man. We will be there. But yeah, man, another win. Unbeaten. Is it 9?
What? Something insane. Yeah, when was the last defeat? Was it Forest?
I'm pretty sure it's 9.
Yeah. Which
is crazy. We're almost at double figures.
We've won more games than Arsenal in the league this season.
That is. I don't understand the maths. The maths ain't mathing, mate. Yeah, we won 1 game in 14. And we might be finishing... Well, there's a chance we might finish second. I still don't think we will. But there's a chance we might finish second. And we've won more games than Arsenal. Yeah. This has been the weirdest season ever.
No, yeah. It's bizarre. And I might do some content on it because I know the retort to that has been, oh, but you spent £200 million in January. And they sound like that as well.
Yeah, these are just losers, aren't they?
Yeah, the first, there's a couple of things wrong with that. The first thing is, I mean, I don't even know if that number is absolutely correct. Let's say it is. City didn't spend £200 million on like starters. Like Vitor Hayes has hardly featured. Barr hasn't featured at all. Kusanov has played well in my view, but he's still 20 years old. So really, and even in this most recent run, like Nico G hasn't played as much as I would want him to. So really, it's probably more like 150 million, to be honest. We also hardly spent anything in the summer. In fact, I think we made a profit, didn't we? Didn't we have like the best net spend of any club or whatever, something like that? So we spent a lot in Jan, but we barely spent anything in the summer. But also, City as a club recognised that there were issues, so they tried to address them. Arsenal had similar issues, and they were still going for the title at that point, by the way. It wasn't impossible for them to win the title. So if anything, they needed to invest more, and they didn't do anything. So really,
loser mentality, bro. It's a loser mentality.
Well, it is. Yeah. Well, it definitely is. Especially, I think it started with like whoever is in charge of that decision, whether it's the owner, the board, because they've basically gone, now we aren't going to win the league this year. Let's just sack it off and wait until next year. Because if they really thought they could win it, they would have surely gone, right, bring in a Kvaratskhelia, a Omar Marmoush. Because these players existed. PSG proved it, and City proved it. These players are out there and available to purchase. That was just a little rant I had. But yeah, we've been winning games. We love to see it. Again, it's not been pretty, but we are, I think you and I have said it many times, basically since like January, we are just at this point now where it is irrelevant RE performance. I don't care if it's the worst stinky 90 minutes of football you ever see from now to the end of the season. All I care about is getting points and getting Champions League football. It's irrelevant if we play like shit and deserve to lose every single game. We're sacking this league season off. We just need to get top 5 football. That's all we can realistically achieve. It's absolutely fine. We were shit. In my view, we weren't good against Wolves. I thought it was a bit of a move backwards in respect to performance. Wasn't too impressed with it, in all honesty. But again, I don't care. It was horrible to watch. I don't care. I just need the 3 points. It's looking good because Newcastle drew yesterday, didn't they? That's big for us. Now,
that was a good result.
Yeah, 3rd place.
I think it's all but sealed now, mate, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, well, I think I agree, given that if you look at our fixtures and you compare it to everyone else's fixtures, Newcastle needs to play away at Arsenal. They also have to play Chelsea. Chelsea have to play Newcastle. Sadly, they've just beaten Liverpool, but they also have to play Forest away on the last day of the season, I think. Again, so we've got a couple of our top 5 rivals all competing with one another, whereas we play Southampton. I know it's away, but they are literally the worst team in the league. If we don't win that, I don't know what's going on. And then hopefully by then, we'll have a better picture of like how many more points we need to get. And then it's home against Bournemouth, not an easy game, but at least it's at home. and then away against Fulham on the final day, and hopefully it's sealed by then. So we're in a good position. And yeah, I think mathematically it's not guaranteed, but we are like nearly guaranteed to get top 5. And as you say, there's a world where we get second somehow.
Yeah. I mean, if we win our next game, we go 67 points. That's it then. You're done. You're fine. The teams around us have all got tricky fixtures. So, yeah, that's good. It's good that we finally got it secured, man, because if we wouldn't have got Champions League football, then it would not have been an L. It would have been a huge L and a major, major, major problem. And despite all the injuries we've had, there's no excuse for this team not finishing in the top 4, man, or the top 5. So, it's done now, in my opinion. And let's go win that. Let's go with that FA Cup. Yeah, the game against Wolves, it was bad. It was a backwards step, really. I thought we were very lucky to win the match, if I'm being honest with you. I thought they had some amazing chances that they should have done better with. But as you say, we got the win, and that secured the top 4, top 5, really. Unless you absolutely balls it up against Southampton, which could get nervy. But yeah. It is. In fact, let me come to these super chats, and I want to ask you about a couple of topics. Then we'll get into some transfer talk as well. Chat, make sure you smashing these likes up as well, man. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Big up Zaka says rename a stand to his name about Mancini. Maybe a stand. I don't know. It's got to be something though, innit? It's got to be something. Can't have nothing, man.
Yeah, you need something. I think a stand might be too far. I think that for a stand, you might be looking at, again, like maybe like a Pep sort of situation, so that sort of level. Or I would have liked one of the stands to be named after Aguero, you know, the one where he scored that goal against QPR. I think that would have been quite nice. Definitely something, though, again, whether it's like a mural or a statue or something. They come up with something. I think, anyway.
All right. Second City says, I hope people understand if we start winning it next year, it will be inspired of Pep. Will it take another 1 billion for our second Champions League with Pep? Says second. Will it take another billion? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know how much money we're going to need to spend.
Oh, well, if Pep's only staying for another 2 years anyway, I doubt we're going to spend £1 billion in 2 years. That would be insane. That'd be like Chelsea level of like short-term spending. So I don't think so. It all depends. Yeah, I was just going to say the Champions League, like, of course you need a great side, but we've had great sides, but we've seen that sometimes it just doesn't go your way on the day. So with like the Champions League, it's often being the best side sometimes isn't even enough. You do also sometimes need luck to go your way as well, to be fair.
Yeah, of course. Same with any cup competition.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the truth. That's why league for me dictates truly who's the best team in that league. Because a cup competition, you need luck. You need luck, man. Yeah, I mean that's the truth. When you win your league, no matter what league it is, Premier League, Championship, 1, 2, La Liga, Bundesliga, whatever. If you win that league, you are the best team in that league. Facts.
Easy.
If you win a cup competition, including the Champions League, that does not mean necessarily that you are the best team in that competition because it's a cup competition. Anything could go your way. You could get dodgy refereeing decisions. This is why refereeing decisions in the Premier League are irrelevant, on the grand scale. Because you've got 38 games. Mm-hmm. If you get a dodgy referee, you got another 37 games. You can't blame it on that. Yeah, so that for me is why the league, for me, is the bread and butter always. And I always say league over Champions League, man, because for me, I do not watch City 38 games a season to watch us come second, mate. I watch us to win it. Yeah, and obviously I watch us to win everything, right? But the Champions League, like, you can't look at last year, yeah. Real Madrid were not the best team in Europe last year. No. They just weren't. Factually, they weren't. Oh, but they won it, so they weren't. No, they obviously won it. That doesn't mean they were necessarily the best team in Europe. It's a knockout competition. They got fucking whacked off Leipzig. Yeah, we were better than them. Yeah, but obviously they just put the ball in the back of the net. They deserve to win it. Of course they deserve to win it. Whoever wins it deserves to win it. But that does not make you the best team in Europe. Mm-hmm. That's just not true.
No, I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out Piplup as well, man. It's to you. Fitter Company. Yeah, future City manager, man.
I hope so.
We will be there.
If he can prove himself, of course. But it's a great start. Yeah.
He's got to prove himself. Yeah, he's got to prove himself. This ain't no charity. But he's got in there. He's won the Bundesliga. He got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Been knocked out off a very good Inter Milan side. And by the way, yeah, he's some of you haters in the chat, yeah, on Vincent Company, by the way. Have some respect. He had fucking Eric Dyer playing at centre back, mate, yeah, against Inter Milan. So please don't let him get a couple signings in this summer, some defensive signings. Yeah, and also there's been some talks that maybe he wants Kevin De Bruyne, which will be interesting. Get him some centre backs and some proper defenders at that football club, and let's see what he does next year, man. But first year wins the Bundesliga. But it's easy to win the Bundesliga. Well, they didn't win it last year, and they fucking fluked it the year before because they basically won it by default the year before.
Yeah,
but they were the best team because they won it. Yeah. Well, let's see what he does next year, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and look, he got knocked out of the Champions League, but didn't he have like 1 million injured players as well? Like he couldn't call on so many players.
Bro, it was a madness, man. You want to see that team he played against Inter Milan? It was crazy.
Yeah, so
crazy it was.
Of course, we need to wait, but it's going along the right line so far. It's promising signs. Promising.
Yeah. All right. I've got a couple of topics that I wanted to throw at you today, bro. Some transfer talk. But first of all, I wanted to ask you because I'm very intrigued.
Oh my God.
Very curious about this. I'm sure a lot of City fans are. Nico Gonzalez purchased for 50 million quid from Porto in the last days of the transfer window. He's coming. He's played pretty well. And then he's been dropped and seemingly struggling to get a game. I put a tweet out the other day saying, City fans, what do you think's going on here? Why is Nico Gonzalez not getting in the team? And there was quite a lot of responses. Big up to everyone that responded. I did look at them, see what people were saying. I've seen a couple of people say, well, we're winning now, so why would you change a winning team? But that doesn't really work because if you actually look at Nico Gonzalez minutes, he played against Leicester, we won. He was on the bench against United, but we didn't win that game. He then played the full 90 minutes against Palace and won. He then started against Everton and we won. And then he was benched for Villa and benched for Wolves. So this thing about, oh, well, now we win, that's why he's not in the team, don't really make sense because he was in the team when we was winning as well. And one of the games that he didn't play, we didn't win. And he didn't play against Wolves and we were shit. Won the game, but we shit. So what do you think? Why is Nico Gonzalez? Because I put this out there. I like Nico Gonzalez. Yeah, I think he's a good player. Why is he not getting in the team? What's Pep seen in him or not seen him? Or maybe is it the other players? Something he's seen in the other players? Why is he not playing?
Sorry, before I answer, do we have like the data on how many starts he's had out of like available matches? Because that'd be interesting. I know he's not been starting recently, but I feel like he's started a good amount of games, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he started all the games here. Yeah, Premier League. They did start against United, but we didn't win that game. Right, started against Palace. Yeah, started against Everton. And they didn't start the last two games against Aston Villa and Wolves.
Yeah.
So why has he not been in the team for the last two games?
No, but so it's only the last two games, is that right?
Yeah, but he also didn't play.
And I guess the FA Cup as well. Yeah. Well, the Forest one was a little bit tricky because I mean, like that was a really heavily rotated side. We even had Jack Grealish starting and Rico Lewis starting as well. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to that, to be honest. So the only two games really are Villa and Wolves from that list. So I would say in the first instance, it's not too much of a concern because he has started the majority of the games he's been able to start, which is good. Now, I would personally be starting him more often. You know, I would also have started him against Villa and Wolves if it was possible. We obviously don't know if there's like a little injury behind the scenes. But I think Pep did, in fairness, come out, was it against United? He did come out and say something like, I wanted... Because I think he was asked, you know, why didn't Nico start? And I think he said, I wanted like players on the pitch who more understand the rhythm of where we are at right now. Something like that. I can't remember the exact quotes. I apologize for misquoting. It was something like that. So if there is an answer of why didn't he feature for those particular games, maybe it was because he felt that, you know, a Kovacic, for example, is used to, obviously he's played for City longer, is used to the rhythm a little bit more. Maybe it's something to do with that. That's a hypothetical. I don't know. But again, my starting point is actually the minutes there looks quite good in terms of games started. Again, doesn't change my mind. I would be starting him more if he's available, because I still think he's a better option in there than, any of, Kovacic or Gundogan, for example. I wouldn't be concerned about him, though. He started a lot of football. In my view, he's impressed. He's come in mid-season as well. Portuguese league is very different to the Premier League, certainly in terms of like stamina. You remember those first few games, he couldn't complete a full 90 because it's a totally different level of athleticism and physicality needed for the Premier League. Again, in terms of a stamina as well. I don't think it's a problem. It is the sort of half-arsed.
I only ask because I like him.
I like him as well, yeah.
And I think he's good on the people. People do this thing saying it. Oh, he gives the ball away too much. Easily proved by looking at the stats, and the stats do not indicate that he gives the ball away too much. He does not give the ball away any much more than Kovacic or Gundogan. If I look at the SofaScore data on the games, so that's a lot of BS. Yeah, like I say, I only asked because I like him. I think we're better with him in the team, and he's not started the last 3 games. And so I'm thinking, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
No, yeah, of course. Again, I would like to see him play more. I think also people need to understand that every single time he has played, again, like Kovacic, he's playing in a position that is not his. He's not a defensive midfielder. He never will be a sole pivot defensive midfielder. I think the best you'll ever see in respect to him being a defensive midfielder is alongside another one in a double pivot. But fundamentally, his best position at Porto was alongside a proper defensive midfielder. People think that we've signed him to come in and be this 6, and I just don't think he is that. His time at Porto tells us he wasn't that. He didn't play as a 6 at Porto. So that's also got to be taken into account, that he's come in halfway through the season in a struggling City side, in a struggling midfield, asked to play a position that isn't his, and asked to play in a league that he's not accustomed to in respect of the energy levels that are required. It's a big jump to go midway from Portuguese league to Premier League as a midfielder, in my view, certainly in terms of the outer possession. Is he perfect? No, but he's still young. He's 23 years old. I think he's only going to get better, and I think that you'll see the best version of him when Rodri comes back into the side as well. That's where I think he'll be at his best levels when Rodri comes back in.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone will be the best.
And that's as you say, that's every single player, but certainly Nico as well. I think if you went for a double pivot of Rodri and Nico, not saying you'd have to do it every game, but as an example, that for me is an incredibly strong duo at the base. So you could have a really nice, if we're thinking of a box midfield 4, you've got your solid 2, and that really allows for 2 really aggressive, more attacking midfield options as well. If you wanted to go down that route, of course, yeah. Or Echeverri, Wirtz in your case, maybe, or some combination therein, definitely.
Yeah. All right, okay, cool. Well, I spent too long on it. I just wanted to ask, but yeah. Let us know your thoughts in the chat, guys. If you've got any comments on Nico Gonzalez, why you think he's maybe not getting in the side? Is it deep? Is it not deep? But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments chat. All right, let's move on to some transfer talk then. Morgan Gibbs-White is progressing. According to Fabrizio Romano, he's been speaking about this over the last couple of days. He spoke about it yesterday as well. Morgan Gibbs-White looks like he probably is going to be making a move to Manchester City. I actually saw Jack Gorn as well on Shades of Blue network. Big up to Tariq and them guys over there. And he said Jack Gorn said he expects the fee to be less than 80 million quid. He didn't really go into much detail on it from what I saw. I only saw the clip. So it's not going to be anywhere near 100. It's not going to be 90. It's not going to be 85. It's less than 80 million. This is a transfer that's got people talking, man. Obviously, you're on Twitter. You see what's going on. I don't know, man. I don't really know what to be with this one. I think it could go either way. Any signing could, but I really think this is a signing that he could come in, and I see the potential. I see the vision. I see the engine that he's got. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Right? And we're talking here as an 8, guys. We're not talking as the Kevin De Bruyne replacement here. Yeah, we're talking as the Gundogan replacement for the treble year, right? So you can sit next to Rodri, do a little bit of defensive work, but also get forward as well. I see the potential. I do see the vision, and I think that there is potential that he's got that gear. My problem is if he doesn't have that gear and he can't get better, you're stuck with just a good player that you spent a lot of money on, and I think we're gonna have to go back in the market again. Where are you at with the Gibbs-White? You like him?
I do like him. Yeah, again, he's a good player. I think that I did a tweet like when it was like sort of like the traction was happening and it was looking likely that we were going to sign him. I think lots of people maybe misinterpreted it because I basically said I think Morgan Gibbs-White is a good player, but for me that's where it ends. That's not necessarily a diss at all. But I think maybe some people did interpret it as like an insult or something. It's not at all. I personally do think that he's not my number one choice in that sort of area. Obviously, I've discussed at length players who I think could be potentially better, but this idea that he's a bad player or not good enough, it is wrong in my view. He is clearly good enough to improve City. Obviously, he's very versatile, as you say. He's going to be more than capable of like sitting alongside a Rodri, probably more likely to. Or even as a 10, but probably more likely to be that sort of 8 position. We know what this midfield is lacking. We know it's lacking legs. We know it's lacking that level of athlete. That's what Gibbs-White does offer, especially in that 8 position. So that's like a box ticked in respect to like the midfielder that we do need. I don't have a problem with it. Again, I totally understand the signing. It makes total sense. And it would be a good signing. It doesn't change my mind that even because less than 80 million, that still means like 75 million, doesn't it? For example, for me, that's still an overpay. And I think it's not like, I don't mind if a club's overpaying like, 5 or 10 million, whatever, that's the thing. But if you're sort of overpaying by like a factor of like 50%, let's say, or something like that, I think then it does become a concern. And at that fee, it sort of tells me that Gibbs-White is coming in to be, and again, I might be wrong here, and if I am, totally actually content with it. If he's coming in to be a player who is like a rotational option rather than a player to start consistently week in, week out, I don't have a problem with the transfer regardless of fee, to be honest. However, that sort of fee suggests that he's going to be more of a starter. Again, maybe I'm reading too much into that, but I would be concerned at this signing if the idea is for Gibbs-White to start more than 25 games in the Premier League, let's say, because that tells me he is a regular week in, week out, almost like consistent starter. That would concern me because I personally don't know if he is that good, in my view. I don't have a problem with him, starting around like 17 games in the league, that sort of thing, because that tells me, again, he's more of a rotational player. But the fee suggests he's not going to be that. And that's where I'm at with it. I don't think that he is necessarily good enough to be a starter for City, i.e. starting the majority of games. He's good enough for City. Yeah. I'm not excited at the idea of him being a consistent, regular starter for us in the biggest games. And at that fee, it suggests he will be. That's where I'm at with it.
Charlie, this is just a silly comment, man. It really is. It really is, because our midfield is just chalked.
Yeah,
so
it was like
most players like get fucking Ward-Prowse is better than our midfield. Should we be happy with him? Like, this is just not a good comment at all, bro. I can't lie, man. Like, you need to be I just don't. This is a poor comment, man. Tally, it really is.
I think we started this by saying he would come in and he would be a good player. He would improve City's midfield. But this was another reason why I wasn't particularly interested in the Ederson links in Jan. Again, for me, he's a good player and he would improve City's midfield.
Exactly.
But I just didn't think that he was good. I didn't want him to be a starter week in, week out.
Ederson at Atlanta, great example there, Nobbins, yeah? Ederson at Atlanta is better than Kovacic and better than Gundogan and probably better than Bernardo Silva right now. Does that mean we go buy him? Does that mean if we get him, we should all be like, oh, well, he's better than Kovacic. He's better than Gundogan. These are players that are ending their career. Yeah, well, Gundogan is obviously. Kovacic's got a few years left. That doesn't mean everyone should just be happy clapping it. Like, bro, like, this is the truth. Yeah. And I say this again about Gibbs-White, so it's clear. I think he's a good player. Nobbins thinks he's a good player. My question is, does he have that next gear? Potentially. Maybe he does have that gear to go up, and if he's starting week in, week out for City, maybe he could become that elite level player. Yeah. I just don't know right now. I've not seen enough from Gibbs-White to suggest to me, yeah, that this guy's got that gear. If he has the gear, great. It's going to be a brilliant signing. Yeah, and he can play for City for the next 6-7 years, and he'll be running that midfield up and down, getting GA, and just being a great signing. If he doesn't, you're stuck with another rotational player, and we're going to go into the transfer market again, probably next year or the year after, looking for another one. And this is why I have a little bit of a problem with it, is because my problem, and again, people say to me on Twitter, why have you got a problem with the fee? It's not your money. I don't have a problem with the fee. My problem with the fee is that they declined to get Bruno Guimaraes last year for 100 million quid, who's a genuine world-class player, and now he's probably going to be spending 65 on Gibbs-White. And I still believe that he would be better off just buying Bruno last year and having a genuine world-class talent. Anyway, that's where we're at with it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's an interesting one. You know what I mean? I see so many opposing views on Twitter and people giving their opinions on it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a flop. I don't think he's going to be a Phillips. I think he's going to be a good player. It's just whether or not he's got the level to go up to be a world-class player.
Yeah, some people need to chill. I've seen people say that he's a bum. I've seen people say
Morgan. Nah, he ain't a bum, man.
I've seen people say Morgan Gibbs-Shite. Like, we're already coming up with tons of names for him.
Morgan Mid-Shite.
Yeah, like that's ridiculous. He is, again, he's good. I think you could even say he's very good.
Oh, look at Bulky fucking arriving as soon as we talk about Gibbs-White.
Yeah, and again, I will defend him against people who say that he's not good enough to play for City, or he's not good enough, like full stop, or he's shit, because I think that's horrendous and that's wrong. My question, I think you touched on it, is he can obviously raise the floor of City's team, clearly. Again, that's not saying much, but he absolutely can. My question, I don't know if it's a concern, but my question is, how high can he raise our ceiling? Is question number one. And then question number two is, how high can he raise our ceiling relative to the other options that I would have been more interested in? Now, again, that's a hypothetical, and no one knows the answer to that. We'll have to wait and see how he amalgamates into City side and what happens. But yeah, but I will push back on people saying, "Oh, would Real Madrid sign him? Would Barcelona sign him?" I think for me that's a bad starting point, because a lot of our players we didn't sign from big clubs, or they weren't massive names necessarily. So yeah, I will push back on people going too far the other way, but I'm still going to temper my expectations. Ultimately, it's not a signing that excites me to a ridiculous degree. That's not necessarily a concern. That's not necessarily an issue. The jury's out is my conclusion there, I think. And sorry, that's sitting on the fence, but I think it just is one of those.
Well, it's not really sitting on the fence, because you're giving your opinion, and your opinion is the same as mine. He's a good player. He's good enough for City. Don't know if he's going to be good enough to be a starter week in, week out to take us back to the Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. That's it. It's the same with Nico Gonzalez, right? And I've said this about Nico Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez, is a good player. He's a good player. Yes. I still don't know whether Nico Gonzalez is going to be good enough long-term to be a starter week in, week out. He's 100% good enough to be a squad rotation player. I've seen enough. Already. I'm happy Nico Gonzalez to be in the squad for the next 6-7 years as a rotator. 100%. I'm happy with him starting games week in, week out for the next 7 years. At this moment in time, don't know. Don't know if he's got that in his locker yet. We'll wait and see. It's the same with Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White's defo good enough to be in the team here or there. Is he good enough to be starting week in, week out at the Bernabeu, at the San Siro, at the Nou Camp, at the Emirates, at Anfield, to take us back to Premier League, to take us to a Champions League? We'll have to wait and see. And that's why the fee is important in this regard, because if we end up paying 60 mil, it's not too bad in that sense, yeah? But if you end up paying 80, 85, then it's like, he's got to cook. You know what I mean? And I know people talking about Tijani Reinders, and Tijani Reinders looks a real player. I think City are looking for a player like Gibbs-White because of that engine. I don't know if Tijani Randers has got that engine in him, up and down, up and down, up and down from the little I've seen. Gibbs-White can run up and down the pitch for 90 minutes. Yeah, we know he can do that. My question is, does he have the on-the-ball ability against low blocks? Yeah? Can he pick out a pass in a low block situation? Can he add double-figure goals to his game? Because that's what I'll be looking for in that 8. I'll be looking for double-figure goals if he's starting week in, week out. Guys, he's going to be playing 45, 50 games a season. Yeah, I'm looking for double-figure goals. I don't think that's OTT. I think that's very fair. And I need him to unlock defenses. You know what I mean? Because you can't just have it all on Wirtz. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I'm intrigued with this signing. I'm not over the moon with it. I'm not depressed with it. And that doesn't mean I'm on the fence, because I'm not. But if it doesn't go right, serious questions have to be asked about the board in the midfield pursuit, because they signed Phillips, Nunes, and Gibbs-White. Hopefully it works, but if it doesn't, that's fucking nearly 200 million they've spent. You know what I mean, on midfielders, which is why people then go, just fucking buy the main guy. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens, man. On that one, but yeah, it's an interesting talking point. Man. I see it
even if you're like, you're not fully excited by it, and again, I'm one of those people. I will still, you know, obviously back the player, want him to do well, and you can still surely understand why we're signing that sort of player, and we need to we need to not kill him before he's even like kicked the ball for City as well.
Yeah, people doing too much, man. I'll be real. It's all right saying like what I've said. I feel he's fine in it, but like some people doing way too much. Right, watch this. Key passes per 90.
What's the x-axis? Progressive runs. Okay, interesting.
Runs. So what's that telling me, bro?
If you are top right, Kulishevsky, that's nice. That means that you are very good at assisting shots, and it means that you are very good at running with the ball as well. I'm assuming it's based on this season, is it? Does it say somewhere?
It just says Premier League. I don't know.
I'd guess it's.
I can't see anyone here. I can't see anyone on this list that's like.
Rodgers is there, so it must be this year, right?
It must be this season.
Yeah. Progressive runs. Does that mean running with the ball, or does that mean off-ball runs? I'd be very surprised if it was off-ball runs. It must be like.
I think it's on the ball, isn't it? Because
it's
attacking stats.
Like progressive carries, then maybe. So if you're top right, you're a good carrier of the ball, and you are also good at assisting shots.
Yeah,
that's because that's what a key pass is, I believe.
Right. All right. Well, there you go for the stats people in the chat.
There you go. Kulishevsky's number one. That we should. He's the De Bruyne replacement.
Apparently so.
Easy mode.
All right. Smash these likes up, people. Let's see what you guys are saying. Shows he's no bum. No, he's not no bum, man. And people are saying he's a bum. He ain't a bum, man.
Yeah,
he ain't a bum.
They're wrong. Like clearly, he's a good player. But that's not what we're arguing. Them fans, we're not saying he's a bum. I think the people who say he is, then they're fools, to be honest. But
yeah. All right, and let's see what people are saying on these chats. Big up to Perfect Soul. Gibbs-White for 80 to 100. Might as well buy Palmer for 120. So apparently it's less than 80. Jack Gorn's saying he reckons it's less than 80. Now it could be 79. I don't know. But I don't know how much it's going to be. And Palmer wouldn't be the same. So Palmer would be a Wirtz alternative, right? So if you don't get Wirtz, you might go Palmer, right? But these are two separate positions. Again, Morgan Gibbs-White is going to be playing next to Rodri in that 8 role, running up and down, up and down. Palmer ain't that guy. Palmer's the KDB replacement. Gibbs-White is the Gundogan replacement from the treble year that we've neglected to sign. We signed Nunes, well, obviously that didn't work out. So, yeah, different players. But, yeah, big up to you, bro. Big up to Chris. Says, send Foden this summer to Flick to train and let him play in the 8. Look at Pedri. Guy runs like a madman, says Chris Kirk with a 6.
Foden's running has never been an issue. Wasn't there like an article by Paul Joyce where he said that Slot showed his Liverpool players clips of Foden and Savio running to illustrate their intensity?
I saw that.
Sadly, that there's not a lot of information about off-ball work publicly available. Quite often, the Athletics sometimes get it. When they do, and it's City players, Foden is normally like top of that list or a second top. The idea that he doesn't run around a lot's just objectively incorrect, I'm afraid.
Yeah. I'd leave Foden on the bench now for the rest of the season and just let him just rest and just say, come back next year, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, especially if like keep winning games. Yeah, why not? And now Haaland's back as well.
Yeah, he's back in training. Rodri as well, bro. I can't wait for this fucking Rodri return, me. This Rodri return's gonna hit like crack, bro. Honestly, I can't wait for this. I can't wait. Apparently, he's not going to be playing in the FA Cup final. Which
I was going to say, I don't really want him to play there. I think it's too soon.
I want him to play in it. I can't lie.
I just don't want to risk him at all. I want to wrap him up and.
Well, Pep said exactly what I said. If the doctors say he's fine, he's going to play.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting for that doctor to sign him off. But he's been in training now, first team training for 3 weeks.
That's insane.
He's been in his first team training now for 3 weeks, and he's back. And the final is in another 2 weeks. So he would have been in first team training for 5 weeks.
If he doesn't go on the bench, will he get a medal? How does it work?
Not sure. Good question.
I just throw him on the bench because you have an extended bench for the cups, don't you?
Yeah.
Pop him on the bench, even if he's not able to come on. Pop him on, just in case we win.
Or 12 or something like that.
We can squeeze Rodri in there, even if he's not.
Do you remember when the bench used to be 5 players?
The good old days.
Yeah, I know you're gonna get some people older than me going. I remember when there was no bench.
There was no subs. Yeah. If you got injured, that was it. If you broke your neck like Bert Troutman, you're staying on the pitch. That's it.
You used to have 5 players on the bench, and now it's like fucking another team, isn't it? It's mad. Big up Chris, bro. Big up to Kat says, LB, you keep referring to Bruno G release clause. We had the money. He didn't want to come. Stop using. Nah, he did want to come, bro. If we would have laid down that 100 million in the summer, he would have joined. 100% he would have joined. Yeah, City didn't want to do it, man. City said it was too expensive. That's the truth, bro. But even if you don't want Bruno G, there's bare other names out there that are like legit, like beastie players. You know what I mean? But Bruno G would have joined us in the summer, 100%. 100%. We just didn't want to pay it. That's what come out. I think Jack Gorn said City didn't want to pay the money. 100 million release clause. City said that was too expensive. You know what I mean?
He would have been lovely.
I don't think you'll get it now. I think Bruno's like legit. I think this season's just cemented his
that ship's probably sailed.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest,
I agree.
Which is a shame.
It is a shame.
There we go.
Big to Ahmad says Morgan Gibbs' bid is because we gave up for Wirtz. Nah, I don't think so, man. I still think we're there in the running, bro. I still think we're right there, man.
I don't. Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive. It's not like you can only bring in one. It's not like one or the other.
I think we try to get both. I really do. And I think we're going to get Wirtz, man. I still do not believe that this club will tell Kevin De Bruyne, you are not welcome here next year if they've not got Wirtz done. I just don't think we would do that, man.
Yeah, it's looking promising from like.
People say, "Oh well, we did it with Aguero and Kane." City thought they had Kane. Kane was all but done. Like it was a done deal.
It was going to happen, wasn't he? He literally went on strike to try to make the move happen, didn't he?
It was all agreed. The personal terms were all agreed. We got told he had this release clause. It was all done. Everything was done. And then all of a sudden, Levy decides that actually he's not going to honour the gentleman's agreement, and we got fucked. Now, the defender one is the better example. If you want to go down this route, the Vincent Kompany leaving, that's a better fucking way of doing it. You know what I mean? But I don't think personally using the Aguero Kane thing is a good example.
Kompany was a surprise, wasn't it? Because like they thought he was going to extend Kompany.
Yeah, you still could buy a centre half.
Sure. Well, didn't they try to get Maguire? Was that the year they tried to get Maguire?
Was that the year they tried to get Maguire? I think it might have been, Thank fuck we didn't sign him.
Was that because if that was like the time he went to United, then I think it would have been, and then we got Diaz.
I think it was that summer we tried to get Maguire.
Yeah,
wild.
To be fair, I think he might have done well at City. To be fair, under Pep, I think he may have done well.
Nah, I don't.
I'm happy it didn't happen because I obviously would have rather got Ruben Diaz, but I do reckon he probably would have worked at City.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Fair enough.
Big up to E-Ink says Wirtz and Morgan Gibbs-White along with that Brazilian midfielder. Or the Sana guy. Nah, I don't think so, innit? You seen this link? Shakhtar Donetsk.
Oh, I thought, no, what's this?
Does he play for Shakhtar Donetsk? Who's he play for, chat?
I know there was a Galatasaray player we were linked with.
Oh, yeah, no, Galatasaray, my bad.
And Norwich or something.
Yeah. The ex-Norwich.
Is that the player, yeah.
Is he called Sana or something like that? Right. What's he called, chat? Oh, Sarah. It's called Sarah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not the most avid Norwich
I
or
think he's like
Galatasaray watcher, to be honest with you. So
I think he's like some
I've not
all
scouted
round.
him, so I don't
I
know.
think it's BS. I don't think we're gonna get this guy.
How old is he? Do we know?
I think he's
Is he like a
25.
baby?
No,
Oh,
he's
he's right.
25.
Oh, okay, right.
25, 26, yeah.
Okay,
I think he's
interesting.
like a bit of a dog player. Like
Dog is in shit or dog is in work rate?
no. Dog as in like gets around the pitch.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, no, not dog as in shit. I mean, I don't know, I've never seen him, but from what I've heard is that he just like gets about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking of Sudakov there, innit? I mean, big up Sudakov. You know what I mean? Diverts alternative. We're so cooked, man, if we don't get Verts. All right, and on Verts, I think he's back. I think he scored the other day.
Nice.
Let's
Oh
have a
yeah,
look.
against in the was that the match that confirmed Vinny is champion?
Yeah. He
Nice.
scored
Love to
against
see that.
Freiburg. Yeah, big up Vinny Company, man. You know what I mean? First year, what phase is Vincent Company in chat? Yes, winning the Bundesliga in his first ever year. But yeah, Wirtz, man, there was some talk about him. He's not scored a goal since 18th of January, but he got back on the score sheet yesterday in a 2-2 draw against Freiburg. You feeling confident about this signing, bro?
Confident that we'll do it, or confident it'll be a good
confident
signing?
that we're going to actually sign him.
Oh, I think that again, I've got nothing to base it on other than like chatter and like the general theme on social media. It does seem to be that is going to be the case, doesn't it? That we are going to sign him. I'm not as big on him as others are. That's not to say he's like a bad player or anything. He's a wonderful player. I just do have my concerns about.
Would you rather us go for someone else then?
First of all, I need to know what is our budget for this summer. Like, how much can we actually spend? Because
300.
Gross.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because we need, assuming Edison or take a loose, we need 2 goalkeepers, and we need a right back, and we need a left back, and we need at least 1 all-round midfielder, and then we need like this potentially more advanced midfielder. So I'm just a little bit concerned that if the fee is, I don't know how much it's going to be. Some people are saying 120, some people are saying 150.
It's going to be 100.
What exactly?
100 plus McAtee.
Bro, McAtee. Right, okay. So,
it's going to be 100 million. It's going to be 100 million. That's what it's going to be. 100 million. We go off that basis. It's going to be 100 million.
I thought it was going to be more like 130 based on what people were saying.
It's not 130. Nah, it's 100 plus McAtee is what it's going to be.
Okay, right.
Take it from me, guys. Your new ITK. Everyone's a fucking ITK on Twitter now, so I'm the fucking ITK, yeah?
Right, well, there you go. Well, LB said it, so it must be true. Again, it just depends for me, because the way I was looking at it was how much is a goalkeeper and backup goalkeeper going to cost? Probably like around 50 million thereabouts to get those 2 players in.
I agree.
How much is a starting left back going to cost? At least 50 million. Yeah. Would you say for someone like a Cambiasso, at least a 50 million, something like that? So I've already spent 100 million. How much is a starting right back going to be? Probably another 50 million there or thereabouts. I'm looking at, I've already spent half of my budget, haven't even got to the midfield yet. And again, maybe this is now a moot point. I wanted us to spend this £100 million on this all-round midfielder. Personally, maybe it's a moot point if we don't end up doing that, in which case maybe we do have the budget for it. I'm just don't know if it's a good allocation of resources if the starting point is we can spend 300 million gross. If we could spend 400 million, 500 million, irrelevant, and we can spend to our heart's content, clearly, then I'm not as concerned about it. That's where I'm at with it. I'm just trying to think about the logistics of it, considering that, again, it's not even a top 3 position, given the squad we have and given the players who will be leaving in the summer. I just want us to make sure we aren't neglecting, as I say, goalkeeper and fullback areas and all-round midfielder first. So I'm struggling to, what am I trying to say here? To like visualize it, if that makes sense. But yeah, as a player, no qualms at all. I think he'd be very good for City, obviously. Like he's an elite player. Elite players tend to do well. He'll be great. He'd fit in very well. I'd be interested to see how we use him. That depends on the shape that we operate next year. We don't know. We never know what Pep's going to do. Preferably, I would have him sort of like occupying that sort of like right half space sort of area. I think that would be where he would be best at, given what City needs. Right, I know some people have suggested having more in like that in the left of centre. I don't think that's what City needs based on the attributes Wirtz has. I think it would make more sense for him to be out on that right side, right of centre.
Mm.
But we'll see. I don't know. Depends what Pep's plans are for him and how we set up next year.
Yeah, no, I hear it, man. I think 300 is the bare minimum that you need.
Sure.
If I'm being honest with you, I think it's interesting looking at this goalkeeper situation, right? Because they are looking at Costa and they want to pay 40 million for this guy. I'm not sure if that's euros though. Do you know what I mean?
Nowadays, they're basically similar anyway. That's like 35 million quid. So it's
yeah. And then it depends what they then do with the backup goal. Yeah, what we could do with we could really do with Ortega sticking it out one more year, couldn't we?
That would be if he wanted to do that. That would be the perfect situation.
That would help us out massively. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, obviously we said already he can't be number one, but like he's a decent number two goalkeeper, Ortega. Let's not get it twisted. And it would just take off. It would just take a lot of pressure off the club if Ortega would just accept to do one more year. But he might not want him. You know, I think he could go back to Germany easily and play in the Bundesliga for a top team
easily. Yeah,
and play week in week out.
He's starting quality for another team. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the problem you've got there. Cambiasso, I think Cambiasso's pretty much a done deal at this point. I didn't watch him. I think he played last night. People said he was shit defensively. He was at fault for the goal. Don't know. I've not seen it. I do have some concerns with his defensive abilities, but I've not seen him enough to really sort of say with 100% that he's not good at defending. I don't know. Looks good on the ball, though. I think that's pretty much a done deal. You're probably looking at 50, 55 million there. And then you need another full-back. Centre-back, we're not going to get a centre-back. No way.
If Cavardio's a centre-back, we don't need a centre-back.
Facts. We're probably going to keep Ake and Stones and deal with that next year. Stones will probably leave on a free next year. He'll be 32, leave on a free.
Centre-backs coming out of our arse at that point.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You got Juma Bar, who apparently played well last night. You know what I mean? Loan him out again. Yeah, loan him out again this summer. Give him another year full football, and then see you might even need to buy a centre back next summer. If Juma Bar has another good year on loan, do you know what I mean? Then you could just bring him in next summer. Bang, you've got your centre back to replace John Stones. The year after you let Ake go, bang. Vita Hayes might be the guy because I think you might have Vita Hayes loaned out this summer, in my opinion, as well. But you don't need a centre back if you've got a Kanji, Diaz, Gavadio, Huzanov. Did I say Kanji? I'm not sure if I said his name. You don't need another centre back. So I think the centre back gets pushed out till next summer. Hopefully Juma Bar can be that guy because then the club don't even have to buy anyone. But let's see what happens with him. But you need another fullback. So you need two fullbacks. Interestingly, shout out Craig Partytime in the chat before said City apparently interested in Ait Nouri.
Right. Okay.
Of Wolves.
Yeah.
Because we did see a story that we were looking at. Was it? It was his name, Kirkes. But I think he's pretty much done dealed to Liverpool personally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Nouri is an interesting player. He's always been thereabouts. And is he good enough again to take that step up? I don't know. He's only 23 years old, you know.
Oh, really?
Wow, I didn't think he was only 23. I thought he was like, yeah, bro, I thought he was like 27, 28, like getting towards the end of his, like, not the end of his career, but, you know, like about to hit his peak. And I'm thinking, I don't think I've got enough. I'm interested in that deal, man. I'm interested in that deal, to be honest with you. At 23 years old, I think that is how much do you reckon that'll cost?
I've no idea. I don't even know.
He's got a year left on his contract as well.
Financial situation is. Oh, maybe not too much. Then maybe like a 30 to 40 sort of fee.
Wow,
maybe I've no idea. I don't know. Maybe around 40ish, perhaps. But that would be a bit confusing because I know that Cambiasso can play also at right back, but and indeed he will for City. But I'd rather sign Cambiasso if we're saying Cambiasso's done. I would rather sign Cambiasso and a right back rather than Cambiasso and a left back.
Because why?
Well, Cambiasso is, again, I know he can play at right back, but he's a left back still. Like, he's technically a left back who can play at right back. But I'd rather have Cambiasso, who is a left back, be the main left back option, have him as an option at right back, but we still need to bring in an actual right back for me. I don't want to bring in a left back to mainly play at right back. I know it worked with Cancelo, who's a right back, and he mainly played left back. I get it; it's a thing. And I know he's both footed. I know he's both sided, but he is still naturally that sort of player on the left side. So I'd rather get a natural left back and a natural right back. Just think that makes more sense.
Yeah. My problem is, I mean, yeah, I agree. My problem is I really don't know what the difference is between him playing at left back and right back in terms of like a drop off or like ability to read the game.
I can give you a quote from him.
Quotes are good.
Yeah. So he said that when I play on the left, I tend to push up the field more. So think of Gvardiol last year, almost going to left wing. Yeah. And he said, when I play more on the right, I tend to go inside more. So think of a Rico Lewis going from right back into midfield. So that's what he said. Now, if he's both footed and both sided, maybe he can also go up to, right back to right wing as well. Maybe he can go into the centre when he plays at left back as well. But that's what he has said about his own positions. So that would be the difference there. And again, it depends on what's Pep going to do next year. Are we going to persist with what we've seen the last few weeks, where the fullbacks are basically both the wingers? If so, then we'd want Cambiasso to be on the left, and we would need another option out on the right. Or are we going to totally revamp it? Are we going to do the thing where a fullback goes into midfield? Then it's a different situation, and then you want, Cambiasso on the right instead. Is it going to be a combination of both? I think it depends.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with Cambiasso. But I think it's pretty much a done deal at this point. But yeah, interesting. I don't think we've been linked to any right backs.
No, we haven't, have we? Really?
The only link I've seen us now the fullbacks other than Cambiasso is Kirkes, which makes me believe.
Yeah.
And obviously, Craig's talking about Aït-Nouri. That makes me believe that maybe Cambiasso is being brought in as a right back, and we're going to buy a left back.
Again, he can do it. There's not a problem there. He can do it. It's just, I just think it's a bit counterintuitive to sign a left back to play at right back. That's all. Again, I know he's versatile and both footed. I get that, obviously. But especially, and I didn't mind that idea when Gvardiol was still our main left back option. But if we're now saying Gvardiol was a left centre back, then for me, it's a different situation now. So I'd rather just bring in Cambiasso and a right back. Again, I can see the merits for both, but that's what I prefer.
Yeah, wow, look at these stats. Big up tricks, man. Yeah, look at these stats. This is Aït-Nouri versus Kirkes.
Oh, I've got no interest in Kirkes. I will be so honest with you.
You don't like him?
I don't know him as a person, LB. I would never judge him like that. He's fine.
Oh, made me laugh, man, because my chest is.
I apologize. I'll be more somber from now on.
Yeah, he's been the most boring person you've ever been. Don't make me laugh at it.
I'll talk like that. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Okay. And just to round up on the winger situation, there has been loads of talk recently on Rodrygo potentially looking at an out at Real Madrid. Do you like Rodrygo? And do you think that we do need a winger this summer, or do you think that might be pushed out to next year or the year after?
I like Rodrygo, definitely. You don't, start for Real Madrid consistently and don't be, whilst they're winning stuff, and don't be a good player, obviously. So I do think he's good. I don't really want him at City particularly. There's a number of reasons for that. Without getting into the player, just logistically, I don't think we need another winger. I think that the need for a Rodrygo ceased when we signed Marmoush. And I know they aren't similar, but hopefully what I'll say will make sense in a moment. You've got Marmoush, you've got Doku, you've got Savio, you've got Bob. I know there's a lot of youth there, but they are going to be our main options out on the wings. We'll also be bringing in players who can play out on the wing, like Gibbs-White, for example. We didn't touch on this. He can also play out on the wing if need be. I don't want him to play there, but Foden can play on the wing if need be. It totally depends on the shape. But Wirtz could also out of possession play on the wing and in possession play in the center if need be. So there's that side of things. But I think just the one that seals it for me, we don't even need to talk about the quality of the player, is what I was touching on earlier. If you want to bring in Rodrygo, how much is he going to cost? How much is he going to cost? 100 million?
100.
Right. Well, we do not have the facilities for that then. Unless you think that we can spend 500 million quid, because we've just gone through there. A goalkeeper and a backup, 50 million. Easy. Yeah. Left back, 50 million. Easy. So 100 million already. Right back, 50 million. 150 million. Half my budget's gone. Wirtz, 100 million. Let's be conservative. That's 250 million spent. Let's say we get a great deal on Gibbs-White, 50 million. Okay, fine. I've spent 300 million quid there, gross. If we think we can spend 300 million pound gross, there ain't no budget to spend 100 million quid on a Rodrygo. It's just not financially feasible or doable. So unless you think we can get him for a cut price deal, or we somehow get a massive reduction in fee off, like a Wirtz, let's say, if the starting point is gross, we can spend 300 mil. Sales are irrelevant. Net spend is irrelevant because we're talking about gross here. And also, we don't have great assets to sell in the summer anyway. Most of them are either leaving on a free or are valueless. We just don't have the funds for it. So I don't even need to get into a conversation of, is he good enough for City? Should we bring him in? I don't think we should anyway. But secondly, just logistically, financially, it won't happen. And we can take Rodrygo out of the equation. How much is this level of winger that we're talking about going to cost? That nameless player. It's going to be 80 million at least, isn't it? The sort of experienced player who can consistently get goals and assists. We're talking at least 80 million. Otherwise, you're signing a youth player, and we don't want that. It's too much money, simply.
Yeah.
In my view.
Yeah, I mean, I'd wait until next summer anyway. You know what I mean? I think next season, big year for Savio, Bob, and Doku. Obviously, at different levels. Of course, Bob's going to be his first year, Savio second, third year for Doku. These pressures different for each player. And hopefully they all do well. And if they all do well, then you don't need a winger next year. And then you can look at right, you've got some money to spend, and then you can be looking at, right, where can we improve here now? Can we go in, instead of bringing Juma Bar back, can we go and fucking get Bastoni? Do you know what I mean? Or go fucking hit that market very, very hard. And instead of getting Bar, who might be decent, go and get the world's best centre-back. Because if you think, right, and we'll wrap up in a second, guys, yeah? I'm going to go over side. If you think about where our squad could be next year, if we get the players that we just spoke about, yeah, that Nobbins went through then on the list, 2 goalkeepers, left back, right back, and 8, and an attacking midfielder. Realistically, next year, where can you strengthen? Centre back is obviously an option. You don't need a DM because you got Rodri, you'll have Nico Gonzalez. We're saying that we don't need wingers in this hypothetical, in a hypothetical situation. We don't need wingers because Bob, Savio, and Doku all do well. You don't need a striker because you've got Haaland and Mamouche. The main issue that you need in that situation is you might want to look at a centre back. So if Diaz is not playing at the world-class level that we need him to be in, do you go and full send a new right-sided centre-back to play next to Gavadio? I don't know. But next year is going to be very interesting summer because there's nothing really in my head right now on the basis that our wingers perform that I go, right, that's where you need to improve. Because you have a new goalkeeper, you have a new left-back, right-back, you have Gavadio and Diaz, Rodri, Morgan Gibbs-White. Let's assume that he does well as well. If he doesn't, then obviously that'll be a position. Wirtz, Foden, Marmouche, your sort of attackers. You got your 3 wingers, you got your striker. Like, where is the obvious upgrade? It'd be centre back. So it's also a big year for Diaz next year as well. Anyway,
definitely.
Let's do these chats before we wrap it up, guys. Make sure you smash these like buttons as well, man. 2,000 people locked in. Let's get these likes up. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. People asking me about the Youth Cup game at 3 o'clock. Potentially, I'll do a watch along. I'm going to see how I feel in it because I'm still cooked. My chest is absolutely just knackered in it. So if I'm all right, I'll do it. If I'm not, then I'm not doing it. Built to DK, it says, will Rodri be the only defensive mid? It'll be him and Gonzalez, I would imagine. Gonzalez will be the backup, which I'm happy with. I think that's all right. You know what I mean? I think that's okay.
And we've only, again, Pep's only ever really had one defensive midfielder. Like when he had Fernandinho, he didn't have a backup defensive midfielder. He had Gundogan. And with Rodri, I know Phillips was there, but he was always injured and not good enough anyway. Again, Gundogan was there. So It's not a problem for him to be the only defensive midfielder, so long as there is cover in other areas.
We ain't getting a backup DM. It's not happening. You know what I mean? It doesn't
That'd
work.
be silly, in my view.
They won't play. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You need a player who can do both, hence a Nico Gonzalez.
Bringing out Nori, he'll definitely help our wingers also. Yeah, he has some good stats as well. I think he got 4 goals, 7 assists. So he offers you something going forward defensively. Don't know. Again, I don't really watch too much Wolves. Did last year, but not this year. But I tell you what, someone in the top 6 should be getting him. I'm telling you that now.
He's quality, yeah, no doubt.
Maybe United.
Yeah, because am I being stupid? Wolves play a back 5. Am I being stupid?
I think so.
Wolves play back 5, don't they?
Yeah.
So he's a wing. So he plays wing back rather than full back. So that would be ideal for a Man United who obviously play with wing backs. Yeah.
I can't believe he's only 23 and has 1 year left on his contract. He's just ripe for picking off there on the cheap, innit? You know what I mean? I'd just lowball him 30 mil.
Yeah. So what are you going to do, mate?
What are you going to do? I'll be back in a year, get him on a free. That's crazy, man. Big up Chris, man. Big up to DK says, remember when Morgan Gibbs-White and Rodrygo? Yeah, they fucking strangle, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a madness. That's where our fucking season fell off last year. Was it last year or this year?
That was last year, yeah. Yeah, because then he missed. We lost against, was it Wolves? We lost against Arsenal.
Newcastle in the Cup.
Yeah, that was mad.
We lost all 3 games. We still decided not to sign a midfielder in the summer. Okay.
Good times.
I mean, to be fair, the fucking Lords did try and warn us, The fucking Club World Cup, when Rodrygo went down and injured his knee. Do you remember that in the Club World Cup? That's a warning sign, And then he got fucking sent off last year. We lost all 3 games. Another warning sign. Like, bro, they were trying to warn us, man, innit? The gods were fucking warning us. We're like, listen, lads, you're pushing this too much here. I've give you 1 warning sign when he went injured in the Club World Cup. You didn't do anything. I give you another warning sign when he got sent off and you lost all 3 games and you still didn't do anything. The world gives you signals, man. I ain't religious or like that type of guy, innit? But I do believe that the world gives you signals. It points stuff out to you. And it'll make it obvious, and you got to react to it. If you don't react, you don't react. And we didn't react, man.
Yeah. Beware the Ides of March, Shakespeare would say.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty cool, isn't it?
It's from Julius Caesar.
So that's what Pep Guardiola spoke about Julius Caesar, didn't he?
Is
that when he said that thing about there are no enemies or friends, only interests?
Yeah, it wasn't Julius Caesar who said it, though. It was like a politician. But
really?
He got the right message, but yeah.
That's such a fucking sick thing for someone. I can't believe someone said that.
Yeah,
there are no friends or enemies, only interests.
That is
cold. You know how cold that is?
Mic drop.
That's so cold, man. Do you know what I mean?
That's our manager. That's our boy.
Yeah, fucking hell, man. That's so sick, bro.
Yeah. Wasn't that also when like people were like, oh, and Pep's gonna come out and he's gonna leave City and all that stuff, and he came out saying that, swinging. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Yeah.
All right, then, boys. We'll leave it there. Guys, do me a favor, man. Yeah, we're both ill. Please smash a like on the stream. Yeah. Please smash a like on the stream. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. I'm going over to Saeed. Yeah, I'll redirect you to over Saeed. Yeah. Guys, make sure you just cook him in the chat, innit? Cook this guy in the chat, man. He's cooking in the chat. Big up Craig, man. I've seen your comments in it. You know what I mean? I've seen your comments. Big up Craig in it. Chat, you want to see Craig's comments? Just go on his account and see his comments, man. But yeah, smash the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Subscribe to Nobbins as well. And I'll see you over on Saeed's channel, man, for Midday Live. See you in a bit.